Okay, guys. So part three. So texturing. So this is the most fun part, the most creative. So of course, I'm gonna give you a really big hint here, just by the way I name my scene. So I'm just saying, what's this? Oh, is it exercise 6? No. So there you go, final project. Okay, uh, so my computer crashed in between. So I just wanted to get back about some really core easy concept for UVs. So I'll just show you something real quick. So I do a planar to collapse everything together. So I'll show you real quick. So how how come some things work, and then so that you understand. Okay, so Control B. Okay, unfold. Bam. Okay, so we have a box, right? So the box is laid out flat, just like it would in real life. So just one key thing here is in order to show you the stretching. So I figured while in between videos while I was eating that I could actually show you. So if I were to sew these two parts, so just the same idea as the tape that I was mentioning before. So I'll cut and sew here. So if I saw these two guys here, so let me go back, sorry, and show you the UVs at this time. Let's make this fit into the whole thing so that we have bigger cubes. Okay, so you see how the projection is correct. Now let's just sew these two together, and you see how it stretches. So what I tend to so what I want for you to understand here is basically now it's stretching. It's a 90-degree angle, right? But why is it not stretching when it's this kind of 90-degree angle? Is because technically we could cut it over here, sorry, over here, and have it work. But since I decided for the rest to be unfolded that way, so it's so think of it as like a 2D, well, a 3D object that you would have in your hands, and how you have to cut it with scissors, for example, in order to break it down, right? So it just makes sense that we would cut over here, right, at some point over there, because otherwise we all know that we won't be able to make it flat if the corners are still attached. It is just what I mean. So so the idea here is that this is a continuous face here. It continues. But here is a 90-degree angle, but you can't have two um, adjacent 90-degree angle uh, sewn parts, because otherwise it will stretch. Anyways, so that's what I wanted to cover. Sorry. Okay, so now back to this. So you remember, or maybe not, in the project in the project information folder, there's a mention that you guys need to provide some uh, references. So I built my own references. So as I told you guys, I wanted to do some sort of like a Mexican themed whatever. So I made a logo a couple weeks back, and so this is the final version with me correcting the issues. And then so here's a reference for in terms of color. I really like this. So this is a reference in terms of of style. So of course it's the same asset. Well, I mean, it's not the same because I made my own, but I mean, it's the same base behind the modeling of this. So, so of course it makes sense to use something like this, but I don't want to go for a copy, but still, I like the style. So then I want to add stickers. So I had some Mid-Journey from back in the days, luchadors. I love the color of Mexico. I love the food. I love the hospitality. I love the culture. So, I mean, I just felt like it would be fun to honor um, sort of that idea. And I went online and got on Free Pick or the other one. Um, what's the other one again? Free Pick or Pixabay, some sort of Mexican themed things. This one is another reference, which I feel looks great in terms of metalness, in terms of dirt, in terms of like, it feels fun, like this asset. The smiley face, the colorful numbers in contrast with the rust and so on and so forth. I like this aspect of it. So, and then finally, I have this reference for the mood. So I feel that this inspired the whole process. Basically, I generated this in Midjourney at the very beginning of the research, and I was like, this really works for me. I really like this, so I'll try to embody some of this inside of my project. So that being said, so you guys too have to provide images, reference images, in terms of, for example, overall style. But I at least want one reference of the wear and tear. So this is not one of them, but let's go here. So I have, for example, this one. Let me copy and paste it here. So this is a great reference in order to have a visual feedback of what it would look like in terms of aging. In my if so, this is a game asset, so it just makes sense um, to have this as a reference. So yeah, but usually you want to have also like real world references so that you can um, pick from a right reference and not just be biased by someone else's mistakes, for example, if that person is. So it's always an interpretation of the real thing. So that's that. So okay, so this is the primary parts to the project. So is finding your own voice, finding your inspiration. Oh, and I forgot this one. I created this brush that I used on the manhole. So in order to, so I used one of these guys. It's this one right here. So I made just one square out of this, and I'll use this as a sort of a decal to create some visual interest on the mailbox. Let's see how far I'll go with that in videos, but okay. So I'll open my references on my other screen just so I have um, something to compare it with. I still feel like I'm missing a reference that's a real life reference in terms of Rust, and so maybe this, but the resolution is really bad. Oh well, I don't want to waste time on this. Let me just Google this real quick. So mailbox old. So we feel, I see that this mailbox has been used quite often. Okay, so this is a good one. even though it's the same mailbox. Okay, so references. Oh, this is another view of the same thing. I like the other one better. Okay, so I'll just start. Oh, this is good too. The paint peeling. Anyways, it's easy to go down a rabbit hole and just be so inspired by so many things that you want to recreate. I like the rust on this one, so I'll say many, but make sure that you clean your things before you send those. Um, I don't want like a gazillion references, and at the end I'm looking at the final image and it looks nothing like the reference that you've used. So let me open this one and this one. So this is a great starting point for the peeling paint. Okay, so I'll put it on my other screen and I'll pop it up whenever I need to. So, okay, we'll start with, ah, I'll do a side by side here instead because I'll refer to the image. So, okay, I think I'll just do like getting ready kind of video, and then in the next one, I'll just start the process. So here, what I like about this one is that there's color variation. So first off, there's a blend of two colors over here, and then there's the fading of that same color. At the bottom, there's visual interest into here where, there's small details that are very visible and creates this realness. There's the text information. There's this logo here. The rust is great. I won't do the snow, but it's volumetric though, so I don't think I'll be doing that because you would need the geo in order to do this. Okay, so yeah, that being said, I think just because of the two references that I quickly found, there was some peeling paint, so I think I'll just go with that look. Okay, so let's see how we're doing on time. So 12 minutes. Okay, I'll start the process and then I'll stop whenever. Okay, so first up is to do to do the bold steps first. So to build up the material. So I'll do a fill. I'll start with the height. This is what I tend to do. Height overall. Oh no, let's do height big chunks. Okay, just like I did in class. So I'll do black mask. I'll add a fill. It's gonna be clouds 2. Okay, I just want the height at this time. I'll look at this. I'll clamp the values just to create those. I'll use the levels instead. I feel I have more control. Okay. Here, levels. So this is great already. So let's do a smaller tiling. So I'll do, oops. I want, big chunks. Okay. I'm gonna go for a more like stylized look, I think. So I don't know. We'll see. It's not clear. screen is too small, I feel. Okay. You know what? Let me. Okay, so we'll need to use a triplanar in order to be able to um, avoid having a visible seams. So let me just go and do the opposite. So let's do negative. Okay. Okay. This is interesting already. Okay, I like that. It breaks up the shapes. And I mean, I'll remove. So technically in real life, you don't have a continuity of this happening in between two shapes. So this I'll probably paint over. But okay, so let's just start, you know, and then I'll lower. So I'll lower the intensity. Oops, what did I do? Like this. Okay. So these are the. It's a bit strong still. So we just are building materials. So we start with something subtle and then we'll add in the punishes at the end. Okay, so that I'll just make sure that it's just the height that's selected. Yes. So okay, it's renamed already. So let's do something similar but with like smaller. So duplicate. Oh, yeah, duplicate. Okay. So I'll call this medium height detail. Um, okay, so here, this won't be clouds. I'll use something else. Concrete. I'll try something. It's not really what I'm looking for. Oh, that's better. I like this. I like this for the paint things, the paint spots for later on, actually. So on here, the surface detail is pretty even. I mean, we don't see much detail. Okay, but concrete burnt, so we'll get back to this one. I'm looking for something scratchy. Oh, because the levels, that's why everything looked the same. Oh, that's a lot better. Okay, so here, let's do opposite. I'll scale this down and here, so I'll turn this, oh, it's already in triplanar. Oops. Okay, like this. Okay, now that I have some more like smaller details, um, I feel like these guys here could be a little stronger now that I have like a reference, a visual reference in terms of scale. Okay, so this is way better. Okay, now, because it's like paint on which you painted, so peeling paint from previous years past, and then you've painted on top of that. So let's do a slope blur, add filter, blur, slope, add this on top, here, min. I like that off the bat. Okay. This is great. I like these little spots. Okay, so let's start with this now. So we'll address the paint, I think. So I'll do a layer that's reflective. I don't know how to, this is what I want in terms of final looks. I think I want something a bit more glossy like this. Okay, so I'll start creating my color. So I'm trying things out here. You see how it's a lot beigeier on top than in the bottom. So they added something that's yellower to in a, like a gradient fashion. So this is great. Okay, I think to set the tone first, I'll just try and see what my logo looks like over there. So this is paint, fill, base. Okay. Um, I'll increase the roughness. I want it to be shinier so that when there's paint that's going to be removed, it's going to be a lot more obvious, the difference in terms of reflection. I like this so far. Okay, so now let me import my texture, which is this one. So, oops, this is texture for this class. Okay, here. Um, I'll do several passes of this because I want the several areas to affect the geometry differently. So, anyways, I'll fill here, drop this on there, and then repeat none. I'll do F1 to get back to the view, and my texture wasn't square initially, so it's stretching. Let me find, oh, it's probably on this. Yeah, here. Oops. I've not tried this before, so I have no clue how it will look. So hopefully it will look great. So let's invert this. Invert. Let's see. So I want. So it's flipping everything. So even so, the black when it's not used, and then if I flip it, the black becomes white. So I think there's no. The easiest will be to inverse my to re invert my image. So let's open this with Photoshop. Control I to invert, and then I'll save this as. Because the reason why I'm doing this is that in Painter, it seems that when you fill something, the rest is black. So I want the rest to be black here. So I'll change its name to underscore inversed ping. Okay, okay. Uh, Let me texture and file project import. Oops. Okay, so this is what we want. Now I'll use my tablet and I'll draw on top. So I want to erase this. Oops. Let me full screen this. So the idea is I want all this to be embossed. I think I'll fill in the whole thing with white for now. Anyways, you can skip this part if you want, uh, but I'm trying to go for uh, the embossed lettering like this, uh, like on the other letterbox, mailbox. So it doesn't have to be perfect because I can then use the levels to go get all of it. I think this series I'll make longer, oops, so that you have a better understanding of the full process. Feel free to put it in fast forward and just follow the idea initially and then stop whenever you see that some information is useful for you. Because there will be times when I'll just be concentrated on filling and on doing the things. Okay, almost there. My only concern is that it will be too small. Oops. In the end, we'll see. Hopefully it works. If I leave just white lines, it's gonna look weird with the height. Oops. Almost done, sorry guys. This is like literally 4 minutes for just me filling up the... But you know, it takes time to go through the whole process. So, okay, let's see what it gives us. Oh, invert, and then let's clamp in the whites. Okay, and then so I'll do a blur. You can also use bevel, but I tend to like the blur effect more. I feel that it gives you more controls with the levels afterwards. So let's see now what it gives us in terms of height. Okay, I like this. That's cute. Okay, so I'll add an anchor point here. Um, Actually, it's not too bad. I was afraid. Anyways, I'll get back to that later. Add anchor point here. So this is Oreo logo. I'll use this afterwards for color. Okay, so let's see what the color looks like for the tequila. I don't know if it's cliche or if I just this is very okay, but I like it. So let's try this. Let's try color only. Let's do and then add black mask, add fill, oops, anchor point, Coreo logo. Okay. Um, okay, so here I could do something else. So here this is choreo height, and I'll do a subtract of this one and the other one to have the white parts to be in a different color. So blue paint logo. This is logo height. Here, fill to, I don't know, just to test, black mask, add fill, choreo height, and then I'll duplicate this, and I'll do choreo logo, and then I'll do subtract. Okay, so we have exactly that, so the parts that weren't included in the first blue pass, they're now in the second one. So I think it was somewhat pink. I like that. Ah, I'm afraid it's gonna be too babyish. We'll see. Let's keep red. Okay. And I think I want to add a little bit of volume here. So I'll just go back in and height. I'll do add black mask, add fill, add logo. Invert. Yeah, I like this a lot actually. Just having this height differentiation. Yeah, this is great. Not sure about the bird being this color, but we'll fix that later. Maybe I should go pink or yellow. I can change it over here. I could add paint. Just color, pick, oops. And then just draw in. Oops. Anyways, I'll probably change this a couple times again. But you understand the process. Let me do the same here. Add paint. Just so that there's more contrast. I don't know. We'll see. Yes, sorry. Oops. Okay. Okay, I like it better than this. Anyways, I'm not sure I like it either. So let's just commit to this for now. Okay, what's next? So what's next is the Rust, I think, that I'll do. Um, so this I won't need for now. Here, so if we take a look at this one. Okay, so in terms of Rust, there's big chunks, there's really smaller bits, big chunks also. So let's do that. So I think I'll reuse what I have already. So this is the logo. So Control G to group. It didn't work for some reason. Logo. Okay. So I'll do Rust. Okay, and then I'll use this exact recipe. Paste into mass, paste effect, sorry, and then I'll invert this. Now I don't want those to be exactly in the same spot as before, so you can either do seed. So if you click on random, it will generate the same procedural, so which is clouds, but it will generate it in a completely new manner. So I think that's not too bad. I wanted to go in negative though. So technical height. It's height position. Okay, like this. And now I want slope blur, but smaller. Paste. Oops. Okay. So if you look, I mean, you remember from the hammer probably how like just the blur slope I feel adds a lot of chaos. Okay. So this is an effect that you see in real life. So that's why I tend to use this. The patches are a bit big. Yeah, I'd rather have more, but them being smaller. It looks like a cow at the moment. Wow. Okay, so I'll do that real simple color pick this. Okay, it's a bit too saturated. Okay, that's better. Okay, uh, what? Okay, I'll do a trick of mine. So I'll use this um, to make it so that the paint is sort of going outwards where around the hole. So it does that sometimes. So I'll do an anchor point. I'll do a fill. This is going to be height around rust. So I'll do add black mask. I'll do add fill, anchor point, and this is metal rust. Invert. Oh, here we see the seam. It's probably because there's no triplanar, I believe. Is there? For this? Maybe I should just remove the height through here and we'll re-add some afterwards. So it does that in the diffuse also. Oh well, later. Um, so now this, it was looking good in white, but we'll see. Here, so going back to this, so metal rust, okay, do we have the spots? Yes. So I'll do a blur, filter, and then blur. And then I'll remove the center because I want just this to be going up along the spots. So I'll do add fill. I'll use the anchor point, which is metal rust. This I'll invert, and then or so actually I can just lighten and then I'll invert at the end. So here, so you see how the blur just extends outside of the anchor point. So it's the same anchor point, but being blurred in between. Uh, so let's just do our levels and invert so that um, so it's a bit subtle, but we can see, yeah, we can see around the edges how the paint is just going upwards around the rust. And then what we'll do is we'll break this down. So I'll add a clouds, add fill, clouds just to break it up. And I want to do lighten before the inverse. So now sometimes it will go up and sometimes it won't. Yeah. Okay. I feel like here the blur might be too strong. Okay, let's clamp the levels and then just add just a smidge of blur. What sucks about the triplanar is that some shapes you see them repeating. So this is, in my opinion, a bit this disappointing. But I'll put the thing back in the center, and it will fix most of it. Oh, it's just the same shape all over. Okay, that's better. Okay. So now we have the bigger spots. Um, so I'll just start with removing some of it. So in the spots where they continue on, so I'll add paint up on here. I'll just go back here, and going back to my layer, I'll be able to just paint on top. Oops. So I just create these imperfect edges. This will add some edge wear. So we don't want that here. This is too uniform. You know what? I'll just try and create my own shape. Here there's a seam, so since we're using Oh no, it should be the clouds that's driving this. But sometimes when it reaches the end, you don't get the rest of the results, the rest of the information. Okay, so I'll remove this. Let me get a brush that's more chaotic so that, okay. Anyways, so, oh wow, an hour already. Okay, so let's say I'm fine, I'm satisfied with this. Let's just move on. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Okay, now I'll, I think I'll stop the video for now. Um, and I'll continue in a different one because 1 hour of video is kind of heavy for you too. So let's do that. All right, later.